confused about how the airports work, let's talk about how to get a ride. What is up? It is Red, the Rideshare Ginger, coming right back at you. And we are here for episode 2 of the Back to Basics series. And I'm here in my hotel room just knocking out videos still. And for this video, we are going to talk about getting a ride at the airport. How do you get a ride at the airport? And this is going to be really directed at Chicago, but I think a lot of these rules and principles apply to across the country. So in general, there's a queue at the airport and there's a parking lot you go to get in this digital queue. When you get to the lot, you should make sure you're online, so you go to the parking lot. For OHare, there's 2 separate parking lots you can go to, but it's going to put you in the same digital queue. For Midway, there's 1 parking lot you go to get into the 1 queue. And both airports technically have another lot, but that is for livery vehicles only. So just kind of look at your app, it'll tell you how to get to each one. It'll direct you there. And I know from being at other cities, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, I forget where else I've been, the parking lot's similar setup in those places as well, and I think they try to keep it the same wherever you go. So you try to go to a parking lot, the parking lot it tells you to go to, put you in the digital queue, and then it's a first in, first out system, so you just go out in the order that you came in, and it just lets you know when the ride's ready. For OHare, the way this works, you get your ride, so once it tells you you have a trip, you click accept the trip, then you go out to the terminals, and there's 4 zones to pick up in now, and you're always going to pick up in departures. You will never go to arrivals as a rideshare driver at OHare. And there's those 4 zones. They're it's like A, B, C, D, and they all have a color. I think it goes black, blue, orange, green, maybe something like that. But it'll tell you where to pick up your rider. Between Uber and Lyft, it's the same thing. It'll tell you which zone, which letter and color to go to, and they're all in the Terminal 2, the Delta Terminal. You go into there to get your rider and grab them, go, take off, and start your trip. A few things that you can do with Uber is you can decline 2 trips before it'll boot you offline and send you to the back of the line. This doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes it boots you off earlier, but usually, I would say 90% of the time, decline 2 trips, and then you got to take the 3rd. So if you get a pool in the first one you don't want to pool, decline it. You get another pool through or something that you don't want, or you get a 45 plus and you're not looking for a 45 plus, decline it, but then you got to take that 3rd, otherwise you're getting bumped in the line. Lyft does not have this feature. Lyft, you must accept the trip, otherwise you're in the back of the line immediately. So take those trips and go. Midway is slightly different, so Midway's got a little bit different of a setup. So once you accept your trips, you're in the queue, first in, first out. While you're there, you're going to go down to the arrivals section and you're going to go to that middle lane. And if you're doing Uber or Lyft and it's a regular pickup, you go all the way down to the end and they'll kind of direct you into where you go, grab your rider and go. Lyft has started something new though, where it's a code pickup. So if it tells you it's a code pickup, right before that zone at the end, there's a code area where you drive into, you get to the front of the line of, it's kind of like a taxi line almost. You get to the front of it, passenger will give you a code. You put the code into your app, and then it'll tell you where the passenger's going, and then you're all good to go. There's a slight difference there. And then OHare's got one other way where you can get a airport ride, and it is called a rematch. The way a rematch works is after you drop off a passenger, you can get a request immediately without having to go back to the lot. Now that only lasts for a minute. If after a minute you don't have a ride, get to the damn lot so you can get in line as quick as possible. This used to be available at both airports. They took it away from both airports for a while. I think it was a good 6 to 9 months, and now it's back, and it's only back at OHare. So you drop off, you're hoping for that rematch so you don't have to go to the lot to get a ride. So that's what a rematch is. If we're talking about rematches kind of keep your business going much quicker, so you don't got to go wait an hour to wait and get a ride. So it's kind of the basics of getting sorry, my allergies killing me here, but those are kind of the basics of getting an airport ride. It's go to the waiting lot or get a rematch, and the waiting lot's first in, first out, and you may wait there a long time. So kind of keep an eye on your market's trends of how the queue moves and how quickly it moves and what time of day it's moving. And every market's a little bit different, so I don't want to speak to one market versus the other. And Chicago sometimes can be a crapshoot. Sometimes it's great during certain times, sometimes it sucks during certain times, but get in, first out, into the queue. Keep an eye on it. Take a nap if you want to, if it's moving slow. But one other thing, make sure you have all your proper paperwork when you're at the airport. You need the emblems in the dash. So those two little, if you on both Uber and Lyft, pieces of paper that are like licenses, those got to be in the dash. On the back of your car, you got to have the airport sticker, and then you got to make sure you have the trade dress for either Uber or Lyft or both on the front of your vehicle as well, so that you do not get a ticket while you're there. Avoid tickets at all costs. Make sure you pick up in the zones to avoid tickets, and listen to whatever the hell the traffic person's telling you to do, even if they're being a damn idiot and don't know what they're talking about. Avoid those tickets, people. But until next time, we'll keep this Back to Basics series kind of rolling and keep this shit going. So if you got any questions, shoot them in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.